love and happiness. Yeah.
Love and Happiness's mission is to help 1 million couples. Dr. Vandy and Barbara Colter are committed to reaching this goal. Love and Happiness has helped thousands over the years through their couples retreats hosted in various cities. Their popular Central Florida TV show, Love and Happiness, has been syndicated in several states. Their best-selling book, Love and Happiness: The Secrets to Creating Winning Relationships, has helped singles and couples alike learn how to build better relationships. It's no surprise that the Colters are in high demand. Relationship subject matter experts featured on talk shows and national radio looking for real relationship talk. The Colters' virtual retreats, social media platforms, Facebook live streams, and relationship masterclasses have put their mission to help 1 million couples in their sights. Dr. Vandy Colter, Ph.D., a certified counselor with presidential status in the American Association of Christian Counselors, has a virtual counseling practice that serves CEOs, pastors, entrepreneurs, individuals, and couples who want their relationship to go from bad to good or good to great. Dr. Vandy has been featured on Fox, CBS, NBC, their national affiliates, and various media for the impact from his virtual counseling as a response to the relational health crisis during the COVID pandemic. Dr. Barbara Colter, real estate investor and serial entrepreneur, complements and contributes to what makes Love and Happiness the perfect blend of real talk and fun. Our motto is no one gets their happily ever after. They create their happily ever after. After the hurt, after the disappointment, you can still be happy. And Love and Happiness is just what you need to have.
Love is. Wait a minute.
All right. Good day, good day, good day.
Happy Saturday, Facebook family. How are you guys doing?
Hope you're
Hello.
doing good. We are looking forward to this conversation because it's real talk. Because life will mess with your love life.
Especially at holidays. So happy Labor Day.
Oh, yeah, Labor Day weekend. Labor Day weekend. Forgot about that.
Don't fight because it's the holiday weekend. Just stay together.
All right, so we're going to talk about it. And what we're talking about today in the relationship, real relationship talk, is basically how just all the different moving parts of life of, you know, between the jobs and between the two parties working
And the kids.
and the needs of the family and
You losing yourself to yourself and a whole bunch of stuff.
the bills, all of that is just, it just really can just play
Havoc.
on the love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say that. You finished my sentences.
See, we're connected.
Yes.
22 years.
Yeah, so if she talks up, y'all might actually hear her. So what we're gonna do is just kind of look at what happens and some of the things you can do to get back on track. You know, in this conversation, we're literally going to be assuming that it's already going on, that your intimacy is a little distant, you're not really where you want to be, and the circumstances have kind of gotten where you're not two ships passing in the night, hopefully, but you definitely can tell you're not as connected as you want to be.
Yeah, as you used to be. And so I guess we have to just address the pink elephant in the room for those who are experiencing this. Where do you find yourself? What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
Well, some people will stay in it, just stay stagnant in the relationship and don't want to address the challenging issues because they feel like it's a reflection on how they're failing or their mate is failing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start, pointing fingers and calling each other's names and blaming. But, it takes two to make a relationship work, not one person.
Well, before you go, you started something that I think we should start with. You said that sometimes they'll stay in that state.
That's stagnant.
And we were talking last night about a couple that's been married a long time and how they are just in a state of just
complacency,
just going through the motions of marriage and life, where
existing, not living.
Yeah, they're not really tasting the benefit of being together. And it's easy to get into a rut when you've got all these other stresses and all these other things are pulling at you and everything else is kind of
demanding your time.
There it is, demanding. It's not even asking.
Your time.
You must address it.
You must.
Yeah, you must deal with it. So so when you slide into that rut, let's compartmentalize. So we're just talking right now to people who slid into a rut. First thing is you got to be intentional about saying to yourself that this is not healthy.
That's right.
For your intimacy, for your reason, and even
your
being married.
Emotional, for your own self.
Right.
Because you're not happy.
Right.
So it's like, ugh. So
you got to be intentional first by identifying it. You can't be in that season where everything is just stagnant and be okay, because that's not why you got together in the first place. You got to be like looking at it like, I didn't get together for us to be just existing. I mean, even on your celebrations, anniversaries, or special events,
whatever.
It's almost another day.
Right.
If you've ever been in that kind of relationship, it's almost misery, I think, to be in a relationship where there is no celebration of love, no celebration, no opportunity for you to come together. And hey, everybody watching, do us a favor for real. Just hit your share button and help us grow in together, so we all can grow together as we talk about ways the relationship should get better. We definitely are happy you're with us. We're gonna give you some great insights. And so if you're in the rut, first step, I think, being intentional to say, this isn't what it's supposed to look like.
Right.
Because I used to always, and I still do, I have a saying that people can adjust to anything. And when I was growing up in New York, my mindset was, if I put you in the trunk of my car, you can learn to exist there. Now I was talking to guys, because guys can exist easier, homeless,
living in a car.
Yeah, in a car, than women. But in a relationship, it still kind of bodes true that a lot of times people can just slide into a rut where, you start out like this, and then all of a sudden it's like this, and all of a sudden it's like this and this. And next thing you know, you're like
sleeping, going to bed
different times
on purpose. She got to work late. He got to work late.
He's out the bed first, you out the bed second. It's like all of a sudden it's like, what are we really
not
doing?
Not eating dinner together, not just enjoying the fellowship of, like, I tell my husband this all the time. I love being in love with him. I enjoy our relationship. And sometimes over the 22 years, it's like this, I'm on his nerves, he's on my nerves, we got stresses. But at the end of the day, we have to be sober and go, okay, you're on top. Sometimes other things can come and try to put themselves on top of the relationship versus me putting my love for him on top. Right. Like the job can demand me to work 10 to 14 hours a day. I'm stuck in traffic.
And the rut,
whatever.
And the times that the temptation, because this is, if you decide to stay together longer than like 6 weeks, you'll have an opportunity. 6 weeks. Rut and mundane and like, like the things that just make the relationship dry, they will give you opportunities to participate. Right. You'll have circumstances where you just don't get up at the same time. One person is distracted with something else. And if you're not careful, you just don't create the kind of intimacy that can walk through that season and stay intact. Yeah. The intimacy is usually like that first line of defense to protect your relationship. And it's really the last line. And often, it's first and last, and everything else in the middle is going to be filtered in how connected you are. And ultimately the security of the relationship is limited to how connected you are. But in between that is life, the kids, the bills, the circumstances, everything is in between that. So I think that if you're dealing with a relationship, or if you're going into a season of love, you need to expect there's going to be opportunities for things to get in between the intimacy. Right. And intimacy on the front, and then whether it's a second job, whether it's someone's in school to advance themselves. And you've got to be very, very, kind of intentional and like deliberate about saying, we have to make sure we stay connected. Because the kids grow up, they go off to college, they have their own life. Right. Jobs come and go. Bills, they all come and go. But what can't come and go is the opportunity that you found someone you actually love, and they love you, and you know how to nurture them, and they nurture you. And this is important. Doesn't matter about the money. It doesn't matter about the house, the cars. They come and go. Come on, y'all people. But just making sure you protect the intimacy and the
I guess your mental health with your partner.
Yeah.
You know, because that's important to see where they are. Hey, are you still in love? Or hey, is your love tanking? What can I do to help you? Or are you feeling connected? Do you just make sure that your partner is good, like you're good?
Yeah, because I do. And if you're deliberate about it, that's the only way you'll keep the energy.
Right.
Because it's energy. You have to invest in the relationship. It's like this. It's like the minute you stop investing in the relationship is going down.
Right.
It's like it's an ongoing, and whether it's a compliment, whether it's just appreciation, whether it's just recognizing that your mate is still important. It could be a small investment that gives huge dividends. It's not like you have to always go on trips or, go out to eat, but it could just be just sitting down. Let's spend, 20 minutes and just share each other's day.
Let's dream.
And dream.
Let's drink, because sometimes your day is stuck with traffic, bills, bossing your nerves. Ugh.
Yeah.
But if you come outside of that, your current, your now, and just let's dream together.
Yeah.
Let's talk about our future. Where do we see ourselves in 3 years?
Right.
Because if you stay right here where you're like talking about your day, that's where the frustration, the kids, the dog hit the cat and the cat hit the dog. That's where all this like stuff is. But if you try to dream with the person, go, hey, what's your dream? What's my dream? Let's dream a little bit.
Yeah. So let's talk about really cool, fun ways. I'd love to hear from you all if you've ever had like an interesting way to re-spark. You know what I mean? And some people might say just have great sex, and you get some great sex, you might re-spark. That's true. But I'd love to hear some creative ideas, or let's talk creatively about how would you kind of restart what's stalled. You know what I mean? What would you do if you looked up tomorrow and our relationship is in a rut or a stalled state? What would you do to try to say, I'm gonna get us out of this?
Well, I would say cancel all your appointments.
I can.
Something. Why?
Oh, okay. You mean plan a day?
Yeah, plan a day.
I thought you was like cancel.
And I'm just saying,
people pay for that time. I get.
I know, but I was like, look, carve out this time. We're going to do something fun, out of the box. I'm that person. I'm creative. I'll think out the box.
Okay.
Go, okay, we're going to do something exciting, fun. Even if it doesn't cost a lot of money, we're going to find something to do to get us back in together, that we're doing something together that's fun.
Okay. So like making a date.
Making a date.
To spark.
Yeah.
It's funny. A lot of times in the counseling process, I find that couples are planning to do that.
Okay.
But then this is what unfortunately happens is where you go, often the issues go. So the problem is
follows you.
Yeah, if you go and y'all ain't right, the location tends not to make it right.
But you know what you used to always tell me back in the day? You go, Barb, okay, here's Barb, we're not talking about the kids. They're not getting in the car with us. We're not talking about the job.
Yeah.
These are the things we can't talk about. These are taboo.
Yeah. But that was only being intentional to say. So for us, it was all of the things that I created these like, okay, we can't do this, because those were the things that was trying to, those were the things that was trying to say, hey, if you want, we could really like put a damper on your intimacy. And I'm noticing that we're sliding into that path where it's danger zone, right? Where all of a sudden the titles, whether it's mother, father, husband, wife, is getting in the way of Vandy and Barbara just being connected. Right. So I would lay ground rules. So that's one thing that if you're looking at as an option, if you both sign off before you do anything to say, okay, during this time, our goal is to reconnect. So no stress can be brought on the table. It's almost like giving a hall pass from all the problems. So you don't get to carry the resentment into you got to be intentional to say, I'm literally going to leave my issues home or in the car or, in the garage before you pull out somewhere. But you got to figure out what's going to probably take the fun out of the fellowship. And then you have to just simply say, okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're not doing this. Now, if you know what usually turns you off, it's easy. Okay, if you're saying, it's like when we talk about the bills, it becomes a fight. When we talk about this, it becomes that. The kids, all of a sudden, is we lose ourselves, and now we're back to mommy and daddy. You just got to create that kind of
protection bubble with the boundaries, like insulate your time together.
Yeah. So that's one that you can do. So that way, when you do take that date, it has a better shot at being a nice, healthy time together.
And also, what we've done this before, also come up with a way to express your love for your partner. Tell them about all the reasons why you love them, all the reasons why you fell in love with them, all the reasons why you were attracted to them. Because sometimes they need to hear a reminder of, hey, you know what? I'm valued. You value me. You love me. This is why you love me. I'm still attracted, to you, or you're still attracted to me.
And I'm like in bondage right now because there's an intimacy exercise that I was just finishing that I didn't put on our website yet, loveandhappiness.tv, that I will probably say by the middle of this week. This is my birthday week, so I'm not trying to work too hard. But there's an intimacy exercise that if you go to our website, you'll be able to get a free intimacy tool that y'all can do, and it will re-spark intimacy through counseling with people. I'm pulling in the tools and putting them in little ways that's pretty fun. So when you said it, I'm like, I know I was supposed to do that like a month ago, and I didn't do it yet. So yeah, you're right. So with regards to the next aspect of it, okay, so life is getting in the way. So we did it with circumstances, just kind of accepting it as it is. But what's some of the other ways that life can steal or threaten the love?
Illness, sudden illness. So you're taking, a second sudden illness. But I think it's going to take two people to, really want to work on this and to both buy into, what, you're right. Because one person.
But wait, you're saying two things. Start with that first one, because I know that's powerful.
With the illness?
Yes. Because especially for men, because we're generally not caregivers. Generally. Now, that's not all men, of course. But it's difficult. Women are more nurturing. They can, with men, we're more, wired to kind of get right to the solution. So that can definitely make it hard if one person is dealing with a sickness, and while you agree to love each other, you may not be handling each other's love the best way.
Yeah, because one person,
because of
the person who's not sick,
or illness,
the person who's not sick can get tired or frustrated with the fact that, okay, it's all about you because you're sick and everybody's giving you attention. I'm needy right now. I need attention. But
so if somebody was asking, like, okay, I'm dealing with a dynamic where I got to put a lot of my care on the person I love, and I agreed to love them, and I'm in it, but it is definitely like just removing the intimacy. If the first thing that comes to my mind is that I would tell them, just trust. Hopefully it's in this box, I'm going to say, that this too shall pass, meaning it's a season, not a life sentence. Now, if it's a life sentence, you're going to need some support groups. You're going to need some counseling. You're going to need some other things to keep you healthy and able to help them. But if it's temporary, if it's circumstantial, and it's really kind of pulling at you and you just feel like, I'm an indentured servant to this, just know this too shall pass. And just as you all taking care of them, just point them to better days. Point them to, we can, when you're better, we're going to do this.
And
we're going to do
that. Accelerate the healing, because some people need that extra encouragement and just to change their mindset on how they're viewing their situation. But,
and again, if you're watching and and have been there, and you said, what I found worked is I just kind of connected with them through playing cards or just being more, more engaged. Tell us, include it. Help us help others. So so that's real. So you were going to go to a second point. Did I make you forget it?
I think you did, but I think I was saying that both parties in the relationship have to admit, okay, you know what, we need to take time for ourselves. It can't just be one person feeling like, okay, we're not, life is crushing our relationship. It has to be both people willing to buy into, okay, we're both going to take time out to love each other better and to prioritize each other. It can't be one person. The person's like, well, I gotta work. Yeah, we gotta live though. We gotta breathe. We gotta our relationship gotta work.
Well, let's do a real like mature approach to it.
Okay.
Let's say one person really does have to work and they have major demands. That just gives an opportunity for the other person to say, okay, well, based on that, where is the time for us going to come from? Instead of kind of putting the person at odds with you, come on the same side of the table with them and say, okay, you're right. I see all the stuff you got to do. You got a lot to do. So
I'm on it.
You all right?
I'm tired. Sorry.
Am I keeping you? No, I'm just so they should be able to just say, you know, of course you're busy, but now let's look at it together and let's figure out where do we come in? How do we get what, you know, are we just kind of putting off 4 or 5 days till we get there? Are you asking me to maybe make it an hour or two for lunch, you know, and just figure it out? Because if the person is really busy, that doesn't go away. And the person who's just saying like, I don't care, you're busy, let's go out, they're going to make that other person feel like you don't really respect what I got to do. But if you just say, hey, in light of what you got to do, where do you see opportunity for us? Now all of a sudden we're working together for the same common cause. Instead of you trying to drag somebody out, you're inviting them to participate, to go, let's see if we can get a better connect.
It just has to be a conscious effort to connect. Like love on purpose. I have to love. I'm going to
love that.
Love on purpose. So I'm going to make sure that
on the social page.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that, you know, I make you feel like I love you today, because your love yesterday is not going to help you for tomorrow or the next day. I need fresh, you know. So you know, new, keep it, you know, together. But it just has to be some type of conscious effort. You see your partner making a conscious effort, because hey, if something happened where, you know, she had to take off for a reason, she gets a flat tire, had to miss work, or something happens to her car, she's gonna miss work anyway, or whatever. So, you know, just make sure you're doing that same sacrifice for your mate that you would do for your boss, or you would do for your neighbor, your girlfriend, or whatever. That's what I think. Oh,
Facts. You're right when you're right. No, I'm good with that. All right. So I'm hoping, as we're about to conclude, that there's no other moving part, but I'm trying to think. If it got stagnant, if it's circumstances.
Well, you both got to kind of just, you know, figure out, do we still want it? Because sometimes, like you said, if it's really stagnant, some people don't know how to let go. So they'll just do nothing. And they really inside, they've already died. They've already like shut all the lights out.
How bad
already
do you
exited the relationship. Physically, they're there, but psychologically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, they're somewhere else. And they just want to be like, they just want to like, they want you to end it. Because they just don't know how. They're past
or they've gotten content with the circumstances as they are. But I think you're right. It's like if each person just sits back, because when I'm counseling a couple, that's the first place I start when we're in a consult, is to say it your way, is how bad do you want it?
Okay.
But in that discovery, I'm really asking, are you both committed, or is one person in a place where they're like, I don't know if I really believe things will change. And it's okay to be there, but we need to know what we're working with.
Right.
Because if one person feels like, I've accepted just being complacent, and the other person is wanting more, that's a problem. But if the person who wants more and the person who's being complacent says, you know what, it would be better if we did more. You're right, I've been okay with it, but it's really not okay. They got a better shot at figuring it out. Yeah.
I think you're right.
So figuring it out, figure it out is the advice.
Figure it out.
Based on both people being clear, we don't want to accept life crushing our relationship. We don't want that. We don't want life getting the best of us, where we're just going through motions. I was counseling a couple, and they were saying, in the consult, they were saying what really made us say we want to get counseling is we went out to dinner and we looked at a couple that was older, and they were having dinner, and it was like they was just quiet. They were not talking to each other. They just was like staring at each other in a way like neither one was present. And they had dinner, and they said it seemed like they didn't say one word to each other the whole meal. And we just looked at that and said, we don't want to end up like that, you know? So I think that it's real important that you are woke enough to say, hey, life can definitely put both parties to sleep and make you sleepwalk through life and never really enjoying.
Sleepwalk through your
love.
Relationship, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So there we go. We good? All right. So we are excited about some things coming up. Give y'all a heads up. We have some retreats that are going to be really powerful and small group and safe and really dope. And so if you're not connected to this social page, you should definitely follow it. We have a private group that we started that we're putting our attention to. It's called #LoveHappy. You should definitely go there because everything that we're going to do for couples is going to go there first. It's going to go there first. So you want to be in that group. So you want to just find that group, #LoveHappy or @LoveHappy. I'm pretty sure I said it right. I want to say love and happy.
No, it's Love Happy.
I'm gonna double check because I really feel like I'm saying it wrong. That's how new it is to our
Love Happy right there.
No, that's not the group.
Oh, okay.
You looking at the wrong stuff. Stop trying to watch my stuff.
I'm watching his stuff.
Just let me make sure I'm not giving misinformation. All right. So here we go. Here. This is not it. I already know that's not it. Okay. Yeah, I gotta get my social life together because.
And we'll just tell y'all next week. We have it together. It's live.
There you go. I'll tell you next week.
That's it.
I have it all straightened out, but pretty sure it's either Love Happy or Loving Happy. If you don't see a picture of us, you ain't in the right place. That's all. How about that?
We'll see you until next week.
Yes, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.